Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing one of my personal classical games because I've realized I haven't ever shared one of them and I have such a big history of playing games obviously because I've played chess for almost 10 years now. So now today I'm going to be doing a few things actually. Firstly, I have just updated my YouTube channel. I've changed my YouTube channel name from Chess Demon 2019 to the Chess Maniac. A lot of people have said that it's good. A lot of people have said that it's not as good as before. So feel free to comment below if you think that it's either good or bad. So maybe I can change the next time we're doing this again. But for now, and I'm also going to be sharing one of my friends' channels too. Um, his chess.com username is EnergeticHay, if some of you may know by now. And if you want to know how you can help him because I'm one of his friends, then you can stay tuned until the end of this video. But for now, here's my game. It was actually played against him. I won't reveal his real name until the very end, so we'll just follow the game for now. And the main reason why I'm sharing this game is because we both played disastrously. And I think that you'll get a good laugh of this, but you also learn something new. So let's get started. Okay, I played black in this game, and he played e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes, knight f6, knight c3, and g6, the Sicilian dragon. This was played a year ago, and I still played the dragon back then. Nowadays, I usually play the knight dwarf, but the dragon is still a very solid line. Bishop e3, bishop g7, f3, knight c6, queen d2, castles, long castles, the main line of the dragon. And here I played move d5. Now, there are a lot of main moves in this position. The most common move played here is e takes d5, but king b1 has been growing in popularity. But that's not what my opponent really played. My opponent actually played the move queen e1. And the move queen e1 is a really solid move. It's not one of the best moves if you know how you're playing. But against me, in this case, I was completely unprepared because my opponent, EnergeticHay, he hasn't ever played the move e4 until this game against me. So it was like completely caught me off my prep. And here, after queen e1, I just played a very bad blunder at the very start. So here, knight takes d4 was played. And knight takes d4 is just a losing move on the spot. And now, after bishop takes d4, my opponent's almost winning. And just saying that in this type of positions with the rook shown on the queen, I made a very bad tactical mistake of even revealing my queen to the outside. But for now, let's just take care of how this game is going because now my position is quite a disaster. And after e6, e5, knight d7, f4, we get into a type of French position. And well, this isn't my hometown. After a6, king b1, b5, g4, so here come the pawns. And here I decide to play f6. But with the queen on e1, I should have known that this was not that good of an idea. After e takes f6, knight takes f6, h3, queen c7, attacking f4, but that doesn't do anything because there's queen e3. And after b4, knight e2, knight e4, bishop g2, bishop b7. In this position, I'm just completely busted. And as you'll see, my opponent played a very beautiful series of tactics. So in this position, EnergeticHay played rook hf1, and after e5, f takes c5, bishop takes c5, bishop takes e4, d takes e4, and here my opponent played a beautiful sequence. I have to give it to him for this one because in the classical game, even for his level, back at the time, he wasn't a national master yet, as you will see, and well, he played this completely beautifully and completely outsmarted me. So take your time, maybe pause the video if it's not enough time, and maybe you can spot how this beautiful tactic was going to win on the spot. Alright, if you found it, congratulations. My opponent played queen b3 check. And this forces my king to g7 or h8. In this game, I played king h8. And after this, he plays the move queen g3. And this is just absolutely terrible for my position. But it's not over yet. But for now, we can just see how the queen is pinning the bishop to my queen. His bishop is pinning the bishop to the king. This is a tactic known as the cross pin. And now this bishop on e5 is under attack. How does the cross pin work? The bishop can't take the queen because there's a pin on the diagonal here. And the bishop cannot take the bishop because there's another diagonal pin to the queen. So a double pin on a single piece on different directions is known as a cross pin. However, the tactic wasn't done yet. I played rook fe8 because I didn't want the firepower on the f file because it's gonna take all my rooks away and then my bishop's gonna fall. But here my opponent plays yet another big hard hit. He plays rook f8 check. And now all I can see that you're going to have a pretty good laugh about this, but my opponent sincerely played very, very well in this position. Like, I'm completely busted here. There's no way out unless my opponent makes huge mistakes, which you'll see that happen later. But for now, let's just appreciate how strong this tactic is. So the rook on f8 cannot be taken because after I play rook takes f8, bishop takes c5 check, hits king, hits queen, I'm losing my queen, I'm going to be losing immediately. So I have to play king g7 first. And here there are a million ways to win, but my opponent actually missed one of them. The easiest way to win is actually just to take the rook, then take the bishop. So the easiest way was just to take the rook here, and take the bishop here. This is not the best line for sure. After the rook takes, because if you take with the queen in this position, then rook d7 comes, and after here you can just trade, and then white can be up a piece for nothing. But instead, you need to take with the rook in this position, and after this, white can just simply play the move h4. And this pin is going to be extremely painful. And although this is not the best continuation for white, white's definitely better here. But rook takes e8 is obviously not the best move. The other move that could be played is bishop takes e5. And here, I'm just going to take with the rook. And after rook takes a8, bishop takes a8, rook d7 check, queen takes e5 check, and after king f7, here white plays queen h8, attacking h7, attacking a8. If queen d1 check is played, just knight c1. And here the h7 pawn is going to fall, the bishop's attacked, here, and here, and white's completely winning this position. So flip to white's perspective, this is how it looks. Okay, anyway, back to black's perspective. After king g7, there was one move above all, however, that wins on the spot. And luckily for me, my opponent didn't find this move. So take your time and maybe you can spot the move and be a very strong tactician. Alright, if you found the move, congratulations. The move is utilizing this crosspin and playing the move queen f4. Now there's just a pin here, there's a pin here, there's a pin here, and this bishop's under attack, the rook needs to protect, the queen needs to protect, and now this queen's coming straight down to f6. Okay, so what's the main point of queen f4, however? The whole point of this move is to say to black, you cannot do anything. And that's basically what it is. Because now, white is threatening something very, very simple. For example, if you play the move a5, that does absolutely nothing for the position. Here, the move bishop takes c5 can be played. And after rook takes c5, now the move queen f6 comes. And after king h6, the move rook f7 can be played. Threatening queen g7 with mate coming shortly and also attacking the queen. So here black has to sacrifice his queen and white's completely winning. So that's the threat of queen f4. And the main problem for black is that he can do nothing about it. And rook takes f8 looks like it might work because after bishop takes c5, king g8, it looks like that black's attacking the queen the same time the bishop's attacking this queen. However, white just takes, and takes back, and all of a sudden you can see that white's just a piece up for nothing. So after king g7, however, my opponent did not find this amazing move queen f4, and instead played the move rook d f1. After the move rook d f1, I found the only drawing move in this position. Well, it isn't drawing, but it's a much more tenacious move than all other moves. So take your time and maybe you can figure out why rook df1 is not as good as queen f4. Note that they have the exact same motive. Okay, so if you found how to save this position like I did, then congratulations. The only move to save this position temporarily for black is the move bishop d5. That covers these two important squares. And notice, back at queen f4, if you play bishop d5 immediately, you realize that that's just a discovered check. With rook on f1, this wouldn't exist right here. So after king g7, rook df1, bishop d5, here my opponent plays c4. The main point of c4 being that the bishop on d5 is a very good protecting piece. And after the move bishop takes c4, in this position, after the move bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, and after rook takes a8, because my bishop is diverted, so it cannot take this rook. And just coming back here, in fact, I could have been absolutely fine if I just took with the queen. However, I wasn't feeling it in this endgame where I had an exchange for a pawn, but as you will see, this is a much better continuation, and in fact, black isn't even worse in this position, which actually surprised me after I checked on computer eval. But after bishop takes e5, I decided to keep the queens, which was a horrible idea. After bishop takes e2, here my opponent can just win on the spot. So, how does white win on the spot immediately? Take your time. And pause the video if you need to. Alright, if you found white's correct move, congratulations. This move wasn't that hard, but at this point my opponent was in time trouble. I still have plenty of time, honestly. But here, my opponent should have played the move rook a7. And now the rook skewers the queen, so the queen has to take, and now the queen takes on e5. And now, if I play king h6, then queen f4 check. If king g8, if king g7, queen f8 is mate. If g5, queen f6 is mate. Oh, whoops, that was the end, so hope you didn't see that. And after, so that means that I cannot take on a7, because if I take here and the king just comes back to g8, then just queen e8 and queen f8 is a mate. So, because it means that I cannot take the rook on a7, it means I have to play bishop d3 check first. And after king f1, here I just have to sacrifice one full queen for nothing, and that's completely game over. So rook a7, easy win on the spot. However, my opponent missed it and played rook e1. And after the move bishop d3, I was back in the game. After king a1, queen e7. And here, rook a7, the same move here, is still completely winning for white. However, after queen e7, my opponent missed it again and played queen e3. And now all of the tactics are gone. And here I played the move rook c5. So, now that the dust has settled, I'm down in exchange for a pawn, but my king is in a horrible position, and white's still completely winning. Like, my opponent was completely winning this whole time. However, after these moves, my opponent's time trouble really started to kick in, and my opponent made blunder after blunder while I never made a single mistake. So here, queen d4 check was played, and I played king h6. After this, my opponent played rook e8, trying to divert my attention from my queen on this rook to protecting this rook. However, here I found the only drawing move, and after I played this move, it's actually a complete dead draw. So take your time and maybe you can spot this move too. It's not too hard. Alright, if you found the answer, congratulations. The best move in this position and the move that I played was the move queen g5. And that c1 square becomes a big pain. Now, white's only chance to actually save the game in this position is to play the move queen g1, which is what my opponent played, and that protects the c1 square thoroughly. However, here I missed the chance of getting a better position. Actually, better this time. In this position, I should have played the move rook a5. And this attacks the a2 pawn, and I'm threatening to sacrifice my rook on a2 and bring my queen to a5. Because if you see, if white does nothing, say if white plays the move queen h1, that doesn't do anything. Here, after rook takes, king takes, queen a5 check. After queen a5, it's all of a sudden a draw after king b3. And after, well, it's not a draw, black's still completely winning, but there was a much better forced way to win. Like, this is still winning after black's amazing move here, bishop c2. And, well, now there's mate and surprisingly unstoppable. However, when we come back here, queen a5 check didn't have to be played. A much accurate move, which I missed in the game, which is why I didn't play the move rook a5, was move queen d5 check first. This forces white to play b3, because if white plays king a1, then queen a5 is now mate. And if b3 is played, then queen a5 check can be played, and after king b2, queen a3 check is a forced mate. So rook a5 threatens mate, and here black is actually better, all of a sudden. However, after queen g1, I didn't go for the a-file way, I went for the second rank way. And now all of a sudden, white's back to winning. So as you can see, this is a very, very, very dazzling dragon game. And I hope that you've enjoyed all the comedy. Because now, after rook c2, here my opponent plays h4. And this move just completely cuts my guard off. Because if I play queen f6, which looks very natural at first just to attack that pawn, g5 check is a fork, which forks my queen. So here, I dove in for it. Queen c5 check might have been my last chance to hope for a draw, but this endgame is going to be very unpleasant for me. And I can't even hold it if my opponent plays well. So I dove straight in. I played queen d2. I was like, if you can't checkmate me, you can't checkmate me. And my opponent was like, okay, let's do this. I played g5. You play king h5. And then now, after rook e7 is played, I played the move queen g2 because I need to cover the g4 square. And if you're paying attention, you might realize that taking the queen right now, and after rook takes g2, rook takes h7, king g4, it looks like that. Oh, the pawns are even, and white's up in exchange, so white must be winning, right? Well, that's the exact opposite of what you might think, because white's king is stuck on a1, while black's king is coming straight towards this pawn. If we come to the position back when queen c5 was a good idea, after this exchange, these two pawns shut down black's king as well, so this is why white's better here. However, in this endgame, where the king just comes straight through, no, white's not better anymore. This is going to be a draw. So this is why, after I played queen g2, rook takes h7, king g4 is played. And here, EnergeticHay, he played the move queen e3. And as you can see from the computer evaluation, that was just a completely bonkers move. However, there were many moves to win. The move queen d4 is the best one. And the main reason why it works is that after queen e3, I simply just play the move rook takes b2. And all of a sudden, you can see that how dangerous my king is on g4, how many tactics white has right now. Rook takes a2 is one move mate. There's no way to protect a2 with any of white's pieces. There's no way to check black's king. All of this is just completely paradoxical. And all of a sudden, my opponent can do nothing but play rook g1 and allow me to checkmate on a2. And that's how I won this game. So I hope that you enjoyed all the comedy that went into this dazzling dragon game, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you would like, you can also check out EnergeticHay's channel, as you can see on the board a few seconds later. And you can also check out how his blog has been going, and you can also see how this line was a very big comedy, and how we both played very, very badly. And a few lessons that you can take are very stylish. So that's the basic summary of this game. If you want to see how further you can go, you can also check out my other blogs too, and maybe you can find some other help as well. So that was my game against EnergeticHay. His real name is Jason Liu, last name L and U, and this game was just completely bonkers, if you would ask me. So you will find his blog and his YouTube channel in the description of this video, and I hope that I'll see you next time on my channel with some of this more wacky stuff and some other beneficial videos too. So I'll see you in the next video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Bye bye.